You clicked on this video because either A, you're new to Deepwoken and you wanted to learn how to play and understand the game well fast, or B, you already know how to play Deepwoken but you want to pick up a few ways to expand your knowledge even more and progress even better and faster. Either way, no matter who you are, unless you don't play Deepwoken, you will benefit from this video. Deepwoken actually is not that hard.
But Freddy, isn't Deepwoken a hard game? I mean,
incorrect. Deepwoken is simpler than you might think, and today I'll be going over the steps I took to become the player I am today in under 3 weeks. Starting off with the fundamental basics of progression, every 15 attribute points you will power up. These can be increased in a variety of ways, and different attributes are leveled up in different ways. Attribute points can be increased in a variety of ways, but we'll be going over the main way, which is training them. Using the specified tool, attributes will increase if you have enough XP towards them, and there are 2 types of XP you need for leveling attributes: attribute XP and event XP. Attribute XP is acquired through various methods, and it differs from each type. It isn't very focused on because they are naturally obtained as you play, but here are some simplistic guidelines for each. For strength, swinging your weapon and parrying, and also maybe using physical mantras, I'm not really sure about that, give you attribute XP. Using the dumbbell increases this attribute. You can farm this by straight up just beating up mobs, which honestly, you won't have a problem getting attribute XP for strength. For fortitude, taking damage, being knocked, and various other occurrences give you XP. Through the ways you can get them, they cover almost everything you do, and although you can get it in so many ways, it is actually kind of hard to get. If you have a friend, having him grip you and canceling it over and over and over while you're knocked gives you a lot of XP actually, but it is a bug, so low-key, do it at your own discretion. What I do, since I low-key have no friends, is use a boulder, which is the training gear that you always should use for fortitude, as it actually got buffed a month ago, which not a lot of people know about it, and it now increases your attribute XP by double than what it used to be. When you hold it above your head, you will naturally gain fortitude and attribute XP for fortitude, but you actually really want to be careful because if you do it while you're 1 HP, for agility, dodging, moving, and climbing are the main ways of doing it. Agility is increased by using the ankle weights, and the best method for farming agility attribute points is dodging your friends' M1s. You can sort of get them to do it by jumping and then them swinging, and then you'll just dodge it. But if you don't have a friend, again, you can just run around and you'll naturally gain attribute XP for it. Also, when you're fighting things, you can just dodge them, focus on dodging instead of parrying. When it comes to willpower, it's actually pretty easy to get the XP. Like fortitude, it has various ways of getting it, but it's not a struggle to actually obtain a lot of it. If you really need it, which is quite rare, you can use the prayer beads, and if you just sort of let yourself just meditate, get the XP. For intelligence, you want to use the math textbook. There is the encyclopedia, however, it's just worse. Unless you have the simple flaw IRL, the math textbook is 10 times faster, as you just have to do a simple math problem with 4 multiple choice answers and you'll be good. For charisma, the last one that I'll be covering out of the non-attunement attributes, using the how to make friends training gear or book, you will go up to an NPC or a player and you will type out what you have to type out, or you can click the words. I just type it out because I can type fast. And lastly, for attunements, using your mantras gives you the attribute XP for the attunements, but I would advise getting a mantra for your attunement fast. All of the training gear can be found in Etris, Alaviduals, and most other cities. For the physical training gears, as well as willpower, they will be found at the Antiquarian Etris and the training room individuals. And for the other two, charisma and intelligence, you'll find those books in the libraries for both of those places, as well as most other places. Oh, and for the attunements, They're in the monsters area of the towns. I will show what the monsters area looks like on screen. And it's pretty easy to tell which monster training item it is. Going through the main way I farmed when I was starting out is through events, such as the 3 bandits at Lower Arisia, Sharkos, or any enemy you see, and the ones that drop chests, as you can identify any event XP giving events. Sorry, that's a lot of events. At ones that drop chests. Depending on how good you are, different routes can be taken to progress your build. I'll be covering those at the designated timestamp on screen. Your origin plays a very crucial role into this. The main ones are the first 2, ethiron or Isle of Vigils, which is the one you'll start out with. The Lone Warrior, which spawns you at the Trial of 1, which I highly recommend you learn, as it gives you roughly 7 power in the span of a few minutes. And learning how to do the enemies in there will be very beneficial to you in the future. So I cannot recommend that any more than I can. After you wipe for the first time, you'll be able to have access to the Lone Warrior, which will spawn you at the Trial of 1. And since you're able to spawn at it, you can practice it over and over and over and over until you finally fully are able to do it. Eventually, you'll be able to do it hitless if you're good enough. The other 2 are Voidwalker and Deepbound. Voidwalker gives you a roughly 30% nerf to your event XP in PvE, but it drastically boosts PvP XP and lets you access the Void Heart. The Void Heart lets you pick bounties from the bounty board, which is great for learning PvP. And also gets you a very useful teleport to the Void Heart, which you wouldn't have on any other origin. So it's very useful after you fully maxed out your build. You can also do the Trial of 1 on this origin, so you aren't actually missing out on too much by picking this origin, though it can be difficult to get as you need to grip 5 players and then do the quest. For Deepbound, you spawn in the depths where you get boosted XP stacked on top of the already huge XP you gained from the depths, proving very fast for PvE progression, though you have the risk of wiping, so I would take this origin for PvE builds that are sort of more inclined for intermediate to advanced players. But if you are a beginner who likes to challenge, you can always take this as well. You gain access to the depths as a teleport in the overworld using the Call of the Deep talent. And you get access to the antiquarian and the banker at Castle Light, which is where you spawn at and where you're able to teleport to from the overworld, which is very useful. And one more extremely useful thing is that you get a campfire working there too. So you can level up there and heal there, as well as cook food, which is extremely useful in the depths. Personally, no matter where you're at, I recommend picking Voidwalker or Deepbound depending on which kind of progression you prefer, as they come with extremely useful benefits compared to the basic origins as well as Lone Warrior. But don't get me wrong, those 2 work fine. I use them for both of my first 2 maxed out progressions, so if you're intimidated by the PvP of Voidwalker or wiping potential on Deepbound, feel free to stick to what's safe for you. When it comes to progression routes, it does differ on how you want to play. For beginners, from power 1 to 7, I recommend the Trial of 1, or you can farm the bandits in Lower Arisia. For 7 to 15, you have Upper Arisia, the Songseeker Wilds, or if you have Balls of Aerosaur, the depths, where you can get a lot of XP. From power 15 and up, you have the Star-Swept Valley, Ferryman, or Diluvian. When it comes to more intermediate and advanced routes, I typically run it this way. For Deepbound, I just run Diluvian or get carried in Diluvian, or normal death progression like killing owls and sharkos, etc. For Voidwalker, Trial of 1 into bounties works all the way until 20, or Trial of 1 into a few bounties, and then Ferryman works just as fine as well. I prefer bounties because they're fun and teach me PvP though. Now that I've covered progression, how do you even actually get good at the game? You may be
How
asked...
do you even learn this stuff? This game is so complex.
I'm getting into that. When it comes to build making, bosses, layer 2, and all that more advanced stuff, I suggest reading all of it on the wiki or looking at YouTube videos. Devi's video on build making taught me some of the things I know, and he has a bunch of more useful stuff for all kinds of players. For PvP, SpidersDW is amazing, especially for Gale attunement users, and simply watching a high-level chime player teaches you a lot of stuff. Also, Devi made a recent video on PvP and how to get good, which is really useful if you're getting into it. Anyways, enough with the glazing, and back to the video. There's one more key point I want you to focus on in your journey, and that is not to get attached to builds and progressions. Permadeath is a part of the game, and avoiding it at all costs only holds you back from learning and getting better. Using Val of Thorns boosts your progression speed and provides a more challenging playthrough, which I highly suggest if you do want to really excel your learning, as it'll only make you stronger and smarter throughout your playtime. And that's it. If you have any questions for me, feel free to comment or join my server, as I'm very active in it. Not sure about the members though. Make sure to like and subscribe, or don't, and leave a hate comment if you're into that. I'll see you guys next video.